I was delighted when Career Life Skills Resources included one of my favorite phrases, developing your personality radar, in the Sales Dimensions Toolkit that I co-authored. They said they loved the phrase and asked me to make this video so that other facilitators can understand what it's all about. So in the next 10 minutes, I want to describe what I mean by personality radar and why it's important, and help you add personality radar to your workshops. Let me start with a description of personality radar. When I was writing the Sales Dimensions Toolkit, I remember saying, I want sales professionals to come away from this workshop with the ability to understand a customer's personality dimensions color within a few seconds, kind of like radar, and to be able to adjust their approach to each individual customer. Personality radar is the ability to remember key attributes of the 4 personality colors in order to gain an initial awareness of a person's dominant color. For example, since you may be familiar with the PD colors, you likely recognize the colors for these communication attributes. If you come across someone that is charismatic and persuasive as a communicator, which style are they? Resourceful orange. How would a good listener? That would be authentic blue. An inquisitive person? Likely inquiring green. And a well-structured communicator would be that organized gold. Remembering traits like these is how personality radar starts to develop. My sales manager, Joyce Walker, has the best personality radar I've ever seen. During a sales call, she turned to me before the customer even met us and said, "Bright, resourceful orange." After the sales call, I asked her, how could you identify the client so quickly? She said, my personality radar was going crazy over her sporty car, sunglasses, and black leather pants. The customer had to be a bright orange. Joyce was right on. We gave the client the information that she needed, in the ways that she needed, and closed the sale. Here's a story that illustrates why this is important. I went into a car dealership to get some literature to help me with writing the Sales Dimensions Toolkit. When meeting new people, I often slip into an introverted, authentic blue comfort zone. As I entered the showroom, I stood inside the door looking for a literature stand. I was hoping that I could just gather some literature and not bother any of the salespeople. I felt a little bad about taking free literature with no intentions of buying a vehicle. However, standing in the front door, leaning against a shiny new pickup truck, was a 30-something-year-old salesperson. I read him within a few seconds. He had gelled hair, spiked hair, he wore this thick gold chain, was chewing gum madly, and had an unbuttoned shirt with chest hair protruding out and a kind of a rolly belly, a smirk instead of a smile, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Come in to trade in that junk heap for this beauty," smacking the back of the tailgate on the brand new truck. I got the feeling that he said this thing to each customer. I wondered if he stood at the same place, wearing the same cologne. I thought I could even see the tiles on the floor worn out where he was standing. Within seconds, I was kind of turned off by this sales experience. I thought to myself, this salesperson likely only connects with about 25% of the customers. If, on the other hand, this salesperson had developed his personality radar and knew how to adapt to all personality colors, he could possibly double his sales. Have you ever experienced this? A lack of connection with the salesperson? Likely it's caused by a lack of understanding of who you are. This is why it's so important that workshop participants come out of personality workshops being aware of their colors and all that means, and as well as the colors of others. Let me finish with how you can design personality radar into your workshops. Being able to give your workshop participants personality radar often goes beyond the time you have in a workshop. Adult learning principles indicate that the average adult needs to practice a new skill at least 7 times before it becomes a natural ability. If you're fortunate enough to convince your workshop customers to include practice time, you might be able to provide opportunities for multiple practice scenarios. However, practice may need to extend beyond the workshop. So, does your workshop have cookies? What I mean is a take-home tool or a resource that I call a workshop cookie that the participant can use to practice the personality radar. Let me show you a few examples. In the Sales Dimensions workshop, we introduced the sales wheel. This is used by sales professionals to help remind themselves of their color and the color that their radar is telling them that represents the customer, along with the needs of that customer. The salesperson can use the sales wheel before or after the sales experience to help prepare and or improve their connection with different personality colors, but they should never use it in front of the customer. To use the sales wheel, the salesperson locates the part of the wheel with their preferred color and most dominant selling traits. They then dial over the color of the customer in order to get tips on how to adapt their sales approach to work with that client and to close the sale. Job aids to help a personality radar do not have to be as sophisticated as a sales wheel. It can be as simple as a written commitment sheet, as the team commitment sheet or leadership commitment sheet. With these sheets, workshop participants record the commitment they make to adapt to team members or associates. A simple tool I use in communication workshops is a cardboard tent card. Following the workshop, it can also be used placed on their desks to remind them of both participants and team members of the personality radar. On one side, they record their communication stress triggers. They check off their communication style, and they circle the communication style that could be of most challenge to them. On the other side, they place a sticker or stickers of their dominant personality colors. This is a tool for helping both the workshop participant and members of their team to develop and use their personality radar. In conclusion, I challenge you to think about job aids and resources that your workshop participants can use to develop their personality radar. This type of workshop outcome can drastically help to move the perception of your personality workshops from parlor games to profit gains. And that sells workshops.